Coach Jerry. What are you talking about today?
Hey, today we're going to talk about sharing solutions, and so in the last few days we started off with we're gonna get ready for the call. We're going to say hello. We're going to fix our face. We're going to do the Jerry way. We're going to make a really good first impression. Yesterday we talked about we're just going to discover facts, and we're going to ask good questions of the homeowner and about the equipment so we can discover facts. Today it's all about sharing a solution to the facts that we found. In other words, we got a solution for your problem. Right. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. We can talk about a couple of things. One thing I love is the story of Wendys. So at one time Wendys had a single and a double. And what they found out were people were going to Wendys and they were saying, hey, I don't know if I can eat the double, so I better just get the single. And then Wendys had this great idea that we'll come out with the triple.
Right on.
And they came out with the triple, not so that you would buy the triple, but just to give you something to say no to. So what they found out then was people were going to Wendys and they were saying, hey, I don't know if I can eat the triple, but I don't think the single's enough, so I better eat the double. And at one time, Wendys sold 80% of all of their hamburgers were doubles.
I know I love choice, and that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah, so when you're giving people options or you're giving people multiple solutions to their problem, you're just empowering that customer with choice.
Right.
They feel like, hey, he let me decide what I wanted to do.
Right.
We can kind of practice it if you want.
Why don't you be the tech? You're good at that.
I'll be the tech today.
Okay.
And so, hey, Eddie, thanks for having me out. I know earlier we talked about a few things, and I wanted to go over those. I got some good solution to your problem today. I took a couple of pictures, and here's a picture before and after I cleaned your unit.
Right.
So it's gonna perform a little better. For the age of the equipment, it looks okay. I looked at a couple of things and they were okay. There was a couple of things that we talked about, and remember I brought you outside and we got to replace that part, and I got some good options for you, and you can do as much or as little as you want.
Okay.
And I want to remind you I can get started on them today.
Okay.
And the first solution to your problem is the reason you called me out.
Yeah.
And the second solution is really, earlier you mentioned that your daughter has some respiratory issues and you're interested in some air purification items, and you're working from home now, and so that's important to you.
Yeah.
And so I included something for that too. And you can go all the way down the list.
Okay.
All the way down to just replacing your system if that's the way you want to go.
Okay.
And I'll just let you take a look at those.
All right. Well, I don't think we're ready to replace it yet. But can you tell me more about? Let's learn more about this middle one.
Sure. Okay. Let's do that.
That's a pretty realistic overview, especially if you've got the system and you're working through it and you've been getting the customer involved. You're sharing and you're asking, not telling. This feels like a very natural conclusion. It's the opposite of what a lot of people do, which is disappear down the basement or outside or in the crawl space, come back with like a one line item, maybe it's a bundled thing, maybe it's the only thing, and it really, you're just giving people like a yes or no, and man, those aren't even as good as Vegas odds, right? It's like yes or no, and a lot of people can put that on the customer, but you gotta like give people choices.
Yeah, I don't really like one option.
Right.
Like if you just told me, hey, you can repair it and this is how much it's going to cost, do you want to do it, yes or no? You back that customer into a corner and they feel like that fight or flight.
Yeah, that's right.
And if you give them too many options,
I'll let you
then they're all confused.
We'll let you know.
So I kind of like that 3 to 4 range is really good. Sometimes plumbers have a few more options than HVAC guys.
Yep.
But what you can't have is a solution or an option for something they don't have a problem to. So you can't have a solution looking for a problem, because then you're really just trying to sell them something.
And it's funny because that's exactly what a lot of technicians are afraid of becoming. But if they don't offer choices, that's what it can feel like. I think that's really good. Now, we talked about this last week, and I think one of the things you do really well, and I know you encourage everyone to do it, is silence. Is just giving people time. If you've spent 10, 15 minutes putting this together, it only makes sense that the homeowner, the customer, should get a couple more minutes to process. And remember, they're not just processing and trying to understand what you've done, bonus points if you brought them on the journey with you throughout your system, but they're also thinking about how this ties into the rest of their life, because they're people. You said it yesterday. When you take a whole look, you realize people live in the home and they have lives and finances and all kinds of stuff. And that silence, it isn't rejection, and it's not an invitation to fill it with more facts. If you get the, well, we need to think about it and let you know, that's a classic sign of an information dump where you've heard a little bit of silence and you went, well, let me tell you how that air cleaner works. It's nanoscience. And then it's like, okay.
It's too much information.
The eyes start to go back, and you can already tell that you've lost the person you're talking to, and so you give them more facts because that'll help.
And sometimes it's technical jargon.
Oh my
Sometimes
gosh.
we tell people, like, we use technical jargon, the words and phrases we use every day in the industry, and we talk to the homeowner using that technical jargon, and they have no idea what we just said.
Yeah, no.
Right?
We don't impress people into decisions. We help them understand what we understand, and the way we do that is by being as clear and as simple as possible. When we go to a different culture and we're trying to get people to understand, we try and use words they know. That's what we're taught, and it's the exact same for homeowners. You never really impress people into decision. You help them understand what you understand. All things being even, they would probably do what you would do if they knew what you knew. So there's a right way to do it. Give them silence. Now, one other really important thing is, Jerry said, because we saw, and this is why it's critical to work the whole system. If you didn't take that time, and you did, yesterday you talked about asking questions, not telling people, that's so powerful. And when you start to put all this together, that's really where the rubber hits the road. A customer makes a choice, and they trust us to come into their private home, their sort of inner sanctum from the world, and they're usually paying us good money, so we should give them more than just one thing. Throughout all of history, there's only been two responses to control. When we try and control a situation, it's comply and defy. And if you're getting a lot of customers just giving you blank notes, I would encourage you to take a look at this. Now, what this is not about is increasing sales or, like going after people's wallets. This is about finding solutions that we have, that we can share, and people can learn, right?
Yeah, one time I asked a homeowner, are there any hot or cold spots in the home? Like one room that doesn't heat and cool like the rest of the house? They said, oh yeah, my daughter's room's never been really, really good at heating or cooling her room. And like we looked at their ductwork and it was all pinched off, and they said, we thought she had been lying to us all these years.
It's amazing how people live, and we have the power to help people be more comfortable, safer, and more secure in their most expensive possession, which is their home. So why don't you turn it into a task for us today, Jerry?
Hey, so today, make sure that we're asking, not telling people, but we're giving them a solution to their problem, and not just one solution, not just one option. Do it, yes or no, but 3 options or 4 options or maybe 5 options, and one of those can be, and all of those should be for the repair that they called you out there for. But then a little bit more on the second one, maybe a little bit more on the third one, and then replace it on the last one.
Love it. Share multiple solutions today.